we start with you? Neil, you want to give yourself, just tell the crowd who you are and why you're here.
Excellent. Hello, everybody. My name is Niels Janssen. Like Jim already announced, I'm responsible for the global account management at Innomotics, a Siemens business. Maybe now that rings a bell for you. And I'm particularly looking into customers for mining and cement. And Innomotics itself is a Germany headquartered company looking into electrification, digitalization, and automation solutions. And we are in this business around about 120 years already, but we are always keen and innovate. So that's exciting to be here on this panel to define with our colleagues here the mine of the future. Looking forward to the session.
Thanks.
That's great. So I'll jump right into your first question. So this is a question that you maybe think about. Will there be a single disruptive technology, and at which area will it happen?
Excellent question, Jim. Thank you for that. So flip a switch and you are there at the digital mine of the future. I guess I have to disappoint the crowd here with that. I will not be able to give you this particular technology today, but I believe maybe we can compare it a little bit with the invention of the light bulb, which is, I think, a synonym or a symbol for a bright invention which happens just immediately, and that was Thomas Edison. And what we know about Thomas Edison is that he didn't have this particular single moment, this one technology. He was an entrepreneur and he was very talented into coordinating interdisciplinary teams. And this is, I think he had 30 scientists, highly equipped laboratory, very keen to work with media and also with investors. And this is, I think, what will lead us together to the mine of the future. We're working as a strong ecosystem of partners with specialists, with innovators, with disruptive innovators like startup companies, but also then technology integrators which can put the puzzle pieces together. And maybe, for example, I see digitalization as the glue in between all these technologies, sharing know-how, bringing it and visualize it to a data center, and from there derive the next steps to get into involvement circle of the mine of the future.
Great, thank you. Majid, how about you? Maybe intro and then we'll move into your first question.
First of all, thank for such opportunity and glad to have you all here. I'm Majid Al-Hamed. I'm government digital transformation expert. Happy working in different ministries and companies to build mainly focus on building digital solutions and mainly digital platforms. I can see that there's a great opportunity in the mining industry where we see that it's a green field to improve and innovate, and that's why I believe that it's a lot of opportunity here to build the digital solutions that would convert and transform the business itself and the way that it's maintained in the daily activities.
So maybe some specific examples of what specific items might bolster the industry.
For example, maintaining, for example, the government digital solutions by trying to accelerate and make it easy for the investors to submit their applications, the license, maintain the compliance activities, support them with the data that's needed and required in order to support them work in exploration or the mining and whatever it would support them to maintain their business in Saudi Arabia.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Pascal?
Thank you for inviting me to this discussion panel. I'm Pascal Lacoury. I'm the CEO of EPC Asia Pacific, and we are established here in Saudi through our JV Modern Chemical Service with our partner Modern Group. We are dedicated on the explosive manufacturing for the mining industry, extraction of minerals. And I'm supporting the business with my team from Dubai to improve the technology, the technical things for the mining industry in Saudi. So that's my role.
That's your, okay, all right. So how, in terms of, Pascal, I lost you at the beginning here, the question. Okay, in terms of what you do, what's the impact of the explosives in the mining cycle?
Right. So, in terms of impact, our value is to optimize the impact on the mining value chain by by optimizing the energy. I will try to explain on a very short words. Better fragmentation you get from the blast, lowest ore dilution you get from the blast, better efficiency you get on the downstream operation. So, for example, if you get a good fragmentation from the blast, you ease the loading, you ease the transport of the minerals, and of course the ore processing.
That's a great example of every piece of the chain
Yeah,
can affect costs
exactly.
and affect the environmental footprint as well. Syriac?
Yep, wonderful to be here this evening. I am Syriac Joseph. I am the CEO of Squadron Infra and Mining Private Limited. We are into digital transformation in mining, in exploration, in underground mining, open pit mining, and mine closure. So we use drone-based applications with AI and ML for applications and for digital application, for data collection, and for execution. That's what we basically do. So we have about 30 years of, I've got about 30 years of experience and transformed various mining companies world over.
So a bold statement, how do you think your technology and the things that you do will change the future of mining?
Oh yeah, so we have got drone-based sensors, that is the magnetometers, and we got the drone-based GPR. So these are used for to fast-track mineral exploration, and this can also use for cavity monitoring and for tailing dam analysis. This is one sector. Apart from that, we can fly our drones within the tunnels, inside the tunnels. It's very useful for mapping in the stopes and the drives, and then it's used for productivity and then recovery, and then your dilution. So you could do a lot of analytics on that, and it's all AI based. And you could, at the end of the day, the safety in the mines is something which is very important. And then we got Strios as a cloud-based platform. It is drone based. So you fly drones, and with AI and ML, you get all analytics. Your haulage road, the geotech, in fact your drilling, blasting, we can use it for various purposes.
Absolutely.
Compliances, self-compliances, and everything is in, you get it visualized. It's in 3D form. Now the best part of it is it's all on how does it changes, it's all data, digital data. So that is something which is very, it gives you a lot of power to your entire system to accelerate your business.
Right.
So that is something which we do. So these are 3 segments which we do that, and then it's very, very,
Excellent.
it gives you power basically into that.
Absolutely. Govind, just introduce yourself. Tell us, why you're here, why you're relevant to this discussion, which
Thank
you'll
you,
do a
Jim.
great job of.
Thank you, Jim. Very happy to be back. This is my 3rd Future Minerals Forum. My name is Govind Friedland. I'm a geological engineer. I'm a geologist and geological engineer from the Colorado School of Mines. I was born and bred in the mining industry within the Ivanhoe Group. The Ivanhoe Group of companies, we run the largest exploration programs in the world by money spent or meters drilled or geophysical lines surveyed. We've worked in 63 countries around the world. We now have a joint venture with Ma'aden. We're exploring in the kingdom. We're using a technology that came from iPulse. It's a French technology which I'm a co-founder for, and we're working to disrupt the mining industry for how you explore, how you process, how you mine, the full cycle using electricity. My colleague at the end mentioned
Edison.
Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
He's the inventor of alternate, of direct current. But Nikola Tesla invented alternating current. There's a war of the currents, AC versus DC. Ultimately, Tesla won. But there's a third way of using electricity, which is pulse power. And that's what we're using for the mining industry.
Well, let me stop you there and ask you the question. Maybe this is the answer. What is the most important technical innovation that needs to be commercialized for the mines of the future?
Mining is notoriously risk adverse and very reluctant to change. Anything that our predecessors did, we tend to gravitate towards. So the industry is ripe for disruption. the first way the industry needs to change is on exploration, because, like, for example, copper. Copper is a 25 million ton per year industry. We need to go to 50 million tons to even have a hope of having any energy transition. The average mine takes 17 years to discover, engineer, and construct, and we don't have 17 years, so we have to find it much faster. So we cannot continue the way we've been doing it. My colleague here uses, drones. Drones have an important, those drones are powered with electricity. That's very good, but you don't get the depth. You can only, it's only a few meters deep. You really need to explore. It's sort of like Easter egg hunting. In the United States, we have Easter. You cannot go looking for the Easter eggs where your older brothers and sisters went, because they're gone. We call that poking the eyes out of the industry, right? Like a scavenger comes along and finds a dead animal, they always eat the eyes first. But all the easy to develop mines have been found and developed, right? Like La Escondida is very long in the tooth, it's almost finished. So you have to look deeper, and we're using, so the first area is on exploration. We could talk about that. Second area is really on mining, mining itself. And we're using electricity to crush rock. We're partners with BHP and many tier one investors in France. We're using electricity to crush rock, actually using tensile force, because rock is very strong in compressive force, but to pull it apart is very weak. So we're using electricity to vibrate the rock and actually fracture it along the crystal lattice structure using tensile force. And then once the rock has been mined, through milling and comminution, we're using a similar process, we're using electrical shock waves to go from, let's say, pebble size or down to micron size. And then beyond that is really in smelting and refining. Smelting is the dirtiest part of the industry. It's more than 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions is from smelting. It's a 1,000-year-old technology. If you ever read De Re Metallica, it's the ultimate book from the 12th century on how to saltpeters and how to create metal. But that's old technology. We need to use new technology that captures all the carbon. So I'm a believer in Hydromet solution. I'm a director for a company called Lifezone Metals. We're listed on the New York Stock Exchange, also partnered with BHP. And we're using a Hydromet solution, which has been used in the gold industry to liberate gold. And we use a very similar thermodynamics to liberate base metals and separate base metals from precious metals. So I think it's the full chain, from exploration to mining to mineral processing, and then ultimately smelting and refining that needs to be disrupted.
Thank you. All right, we'll move it back to you, Niels, here. If the future there's an urgent message coming from Govind, we need to make changes. So if that is the case, what's required from end users and EPCs to make that change happen?
Exactly, that's an amazing example what we've just elaborated on. How
Yeah.
do you really change these, how do you have a disruptive change in certain methods of the mine? And how do you then, again, to my point during the introduction, how do you connect all of that to make it a circle and to really get the people moving? And that's actually where I want to go. People
Yeah.
moving in exploring new technologies. And Govind, you have already pointed into that direction. The people or mining industry is risk adverse, right? So we are skeptical of trying new things. But if you want to find a new destination, uncover like this mine of the future, you need to get out of your proven path and explore something new. So it's basically the mindset of the people to be reconsidering new technologies, having a growth mindset here, and really test the things. And obviously we need to put all in conjunction with risks versus possible profit and make a sound business case of it. Maybe, and this is maybe to come back to your question, end users, EPCs, but also the mechanical OEMs or electrical providers of the systems. We all need to team up and to work together to make it happen and to be more open for new technologies. There are a couple of examples. We have recently co-created, for example, with Anglo American, their first digital copper mine in Peru with Quellaveco, where we really started differently right from the scratch of the mine, analyzed how we can digitally design the mine and simulate it and already parameterize it before even the long lead items like the mills, and this the conventional mills in this particular case were ordered. And then this went through the whole cycle until commissioning, and now we are in this wonderful situation that we have a digital mine operating and can always analyze, improve, and get into a circle of improvement. And yeah, this is basically what people need to change when it comes to the mine of the future, the mindset.
Great.
Yeah, and that's one for the design phase, but also for the operators. Maybe just to spotlight on that. The operators, I mean, are pretty familiar with doing things like they did it before in the last years. And now how do you enable such a change? And that's very, very much appreciated if we have these bright spots to find the solutions. Maybe start somewhere in your mind, find a digital solution, improve it there, and then grow from one particular nucleus to the complete mine.
Imagine maybe you can dig deeper on that, the digitization's role in that transformation that Niels was talking about.
Actually, I think that the digitization would be the driver of the industry. I believe that without technology, without proper technology, innovative one, otherwise it will be slow. It will be will not meet the expectation of the industries. On the other hand, I would say that we need to create an ecosystem to maintain the digital solution technologies. This ecosystem should maintain all the different sources of data that will be available through different tools. If we say that we have drones, we have image satellites, and we have sensors related to the Internet of Things, we have AI, machine learning that would help us to take better decisions. All those tools will require us to create similar like a data lake where we can extract all the data from all the equipments or all the tools to put it in one place and do the required prediction analysis. We are in SNAP, for example, we are defined as the arm or the execution arm of the Ministry of Interior Resources. Our main role is to make the investor life easier, to make sure that he is focused in implementing and drilling and exploration. We will maintain all the governmental procedures to make it easy as much as we can to welcome them to invest in Saudi Arabia, to identify the opportunities through make it easy, make sure that we are they at least that they follow the standards related to the environmental or social policies and procedures. And in the end, we will make sure that we'll to share all the information that exists that we have collected from those tools and collected from the investors to be shared and accessible by any investor in Saudi Arabia and any company that would love to have the opportunity to invest in Saudi Arabia, to make sure that their decision would be much easier and smooth.
Great, thank you. So, Pascal, if we hear about all the pieces working together, how would you use digitization to make better decisions for blasting from a practical perspective in a mine?
Thank you, Jib, for this question, because absolutely we implement, of course, during our operation, and we need the digitalization, of course, because it's a lot of data. We are collecting a lot of data from the blast design, from the drilling pattern, and blasting pattern. So all this data is managed afterwards through an integrated digital platform. It's a platform called Vertex with MCS and EPC. So through these tools, we are able to optimize the energy, because we're used to say, you know, to optimize something, you need to first of all, you need to measure. You need to measure, you need to manage the data, and then you are able to improve. Okay, so digitization it's really a great improvement in our industry. We use as well drone survey to get the data from before the blast and after the blast to qualify the fragmentation. Because as I told you just before, the fragmentation has a big impact on the downstream operation. So all of this is essential, I would say, and it's what the customer is waiting for to decrease his carbon footprint, because that's something everybody is working on. By using less energy, better energy, okay, limiting the waste and easing the ore processing by using less fuel, less electricity. So that's the mine. That's the mine of the future. We have to control we have to help the customer to achieve their goal in terms of ESG.
I'll hold you there because we've got only 5 minutes left. I think Cyriac wants to jump. Cyriac, how is your technology and your company helping to achieve those goals that Pascal was starting to talk about, the SDG goals and ESG goals?
See, the world in which we are living is constantly changing. New technologies, innovations are in fact transforming our lives. Now, the faster the rate of transformation, the greater the demand for minerals. So today we are under heavy pressure. We are heavy pressure to perform. And as he said, you can't take years. You need to do things fast. You need to be quick. 17 years is what you said earlier for that. We can't do that. So we have to, and along with this comes challenges which are ESG, net zero. We got targets 2050, and then we got the SGD. We got a decarbonization. So these are all challenges. But now what we do at Squadron is we give you data. And the decision has to be data-driven, and it should be disruptive. So that's very important to have data which are very disruptive. So with this, so what we do is these we got to this data again. You're asking about ESG, and so we need to embrace ESG. We got to be more sustainable. We can't look at these as threats. We need to have it as part of our operations. We got to have it has to be sustainable. There you have to have say community collaborations. We got to have responsible practices. Of course, technology is there, but technology has to be. It should be quick. It should be able to data capture should be quick. It should be simple. It should be accurate. It should be reliable, and it should be easy to handle. So that's where our technologies come in, and then where we got to drive it so that we champion the future. We champion the future by making mining, a purpose to support the global community, rather than being, against what is happening.
That's great.
So we got to change the way we think, and that's where we're changing.
Finish strong. Final minute, Govind. Same principle. How can we be participants and embrace ESG and SDG as Cyriac brought up?
ESG is having a profound impact on everything, but in the mining industry, the direction it's going is that in the future, all metals will trade at a premium or a discount to its ESG characteristics. So until we have differential pricing of metals, we won't really see the full impact. Because if you want to decarbonize the world, if you want to stop burning hydrocarbon, you're going to need to quadruple the amount of base metals and energy metals, or critical metals, whatever you want to call them. And right now we're already seeing differential pricing in natural gas. For renewable natural gas versus conventional natural gas, it's generally 4 or 5 times. We're seeing in the aluminum industry for green versus less green. It's coming in steel. It's coming in copper. So with blockchain technology, like ABAX now has a blockchain-based metals trading platform on the Singapore Exchange for future. There's a future nickel market for battery metals. I mean, ESG needs to drive. So the higher the ESG credentials, the higher the pricing of that metal should be. Today we're not seeing it, but I believe it's 3 to 5 years out. And until that happens, we won't really see the true impact of ESG in our industry.
Monetary considerations sometimes drive us to embrace something, and I think what you're talking about is that we'll get there. So I'd like you all to help me in a round of applause for our panelists. They did a great job. Thank you.